Salvador Dali was born May 11, 1904, in Figueres, Spain. His father, who was named Salvador, also was a middle-class lawyer and notary. During his upbringing, he was often treated differently by his parents. His mother supported his art and his eccentricities. It is said that he was prone to outbursts of anger towards his parents and classmates. Unlike his mother, his father would not stand for the eccentricities and outbursts and punished him severely. Despite all of this, Salvador was producing highly sophisticated drawings, and even his father supported his artistic talent. Salvador was sent to the drawing school at the Colegio de Hermanos Maristas and the Instituto. In the year 1919, Dali had his first public exhibition at the Municipal Theater in Figueres. After his mother's death when Dali was 16, he enrolled in the Academia de San Fernando in Madrid, Spain. During this time, he was influenced by different styles, including Cubism and metaphysics, which earned him attention from peers. He was suspended in 1923 for criticizing his teachers and starting a riot. Eventually, after returning to the school in 1926, he was permanently expelled for saying the faculty was not fit to examine him. Between 1926 and 1927, Dali met Pablo Picasso in Paris and painted several artworks with his influence shown throughout. Joan Miro, Paul Éluard, and René Magritte introduced Salvador to Surrealism. During this time, he was also studying Impressionism, Futurism, and Cubism. After all of his experimentation, Dali's first surrealistic period began in 1929. His work employed a meticulous classical technique influenced by Renaissance artists. One of Dali's major contributions to the Surrealist movement was what he called the paranoid critical method. This was a mental exercise to enhance artistic creativity. By 1930, Dali had become a notorious figure in the Surrealist movement. One of his best-known works, The Persistence of Memory, was completed in 1931. In 1934, as war approached Spain, Salvador clashed with members of the Surrealist movement. During a trial held in 1934, he was expelled from the group. During World War II, Salvador and his wife moved to the U.S. They stayed until 1948, when they decided to move back to Catalonia. From about 1960 to 1974, Dali dedicated much of his time to creating the Dali Teatro Museo in Figueres, Spain. Coming to the end of his life, in 1980, Salvador was forced to retire due to a motor disorder that caused permanent trembling and weakness in his hands. Followed by his wife's death in 1982, he fell into a deep depression. Then, in 1984, he was burned so bad he was confined to a wheelchair. On January 23, 1989, Salvador Dali died of heart failure at the age of 84. Although this artist died before I was born, I find his artwork very appealing, and I believe it is still relevant in today's art society.